Before the eyes can see with the clear vision of the Spirit, they must have grown incapable of the tears of wounded pride, unkind criticism, unmerited abuse, unfriendly remarks, slights, sarcasm, the annoyances of everyday life, the failures and disappointments of everyday existence. We do not mean that one should harden his soul against these things. On the contrary, hardening forms no part of spiritual teachings. On the material plane, one is constantly at the mercy of others on the same plane. And the more finely constituted one may be, the more keenly does he feel the pain of life coming from without. And if he attempts to fight back, to pay off these backbitings and pinpricks in like, the more he does become enmeshed in the web of material life. His only chance of escape lies in growing so that he may rise above that plane of existence and dwell in the upper regions of the mind and spirit. This does not mean that he should run away from the world. On the contrary, if one attempts to run away from the world before he has learned its lessons, he will be thrust back into it again and again until he settles down to perform the task. But nevertheless, one of spiritual attainment may so live that although he is in the midst of the fight of everyday life, yea, may be even a captain in the struggle, he really lives above it all, sees it for just what it is, sees it as but a childish game of childlike men and women. And although he plays the game well, he still knows it to be but a game and not the real thing at all. This being the case, he begins by smiling through his tears when he's knocked down in the rush of the game. Then he ceases to weep at all. Smiles take the place of the tears. For when things are seen in their true relation, one can scarcely repress a smile at himself and at or with others. When one looks around and sees the petty playthings to which men are devoting their lives, believing that these playthings are real, he cannot but smile. And when one awakens to the realization of the reality of things, his own particular part, which he is compelled to play, must evoke a smile from him. These are not mere dreams and impracticable ideas. If many of you had an idea of how many men high in the puppet play of world affairs have really awakened to the truth, it would surprise you. Many of these men play their part well, with energy and apparent ambition, for they realize that there is a purpose behind it all, and that they are necessary parts of the machinery of evolution. But deep within the recesses of their souls, they know it all for what it is. One on the path must needs be brave and must acquire a mastery over the emotional nature. This precept does not merely refer to physical tears, for they often spring to the eyes involuntarily, and though we may be smiling at the same time, it refers to the feeling that there's anything for us to really cry over. It is the thought behind the tears rather than the tears themselves.